Okay, so let's talk about how we're going to begin to finish our figures and begin to add on the details, our clothing that we have planned for. Now, everyone's plans are a little bit different, but I'm going to give you just kind of a general gist of what you might need to do. So I have my figure, and you see that like the body is all built. I have gone over everything and I've added on the thickness of what the body needs all over as I've planned. If there's anything where your final plans, where the skin of your figure would be showing, those are places which you definitely want to go over first before you start adding any of the smaller details and making sure that they look exactly how you would want them in the end. So look at how I've gone over the legs as a planning to make this video for you all, and I've gone over and made sure that everything is as smooth as I can get it, and I might even afterwards go over them again. But notice that the tape down at the bottom towards the ankles are thicker, whereas up here where I would be covering it with clothing are the extra details. I didn't bother with making a second layer of tape because I know I'm going to cover those up. In your art kits you have some extra white paper. You just need some scrap paper that you can work with. You can use copy paper if you run out of copy paper. Any kind of extra, you can use newspaper or newsprint or any kind of spare paper will work for this. But think about clothing and how your clothes are made out of panels, are made out of shape, if you're familiar with clothes. And that's what we're working with. What I have under my figure are 2 sheets of paper, because one's going to be for the back of the body and one's going to be for the front of the body. And I'm just going to lay my figure on top of the paper, and then I'm going to draw the shorts that I have planned here slightly larger than the legs that I have. So I'm going to start a little bit higher than I need for the top of the pant, and then trace around the body a little to the outside of the leg. Same thing on this side. We're going to go a little to the outside of the body. And there, I'm going to go across and do the other leg as well. So it might look like it's a little too big, but this is because it needs to wrap around the figure as well. So you're making it wider so that the thickness of the body also gets covered. And this isn't kind of a perfect science. You're going to have to work some things out. So I have my drawing on there. And now I'm going to cut this out. I'm going to use the rest of that paper probably for the shirt. So these are the pants. One of these will be for the front and the other one will be for the back of the body. Looking at my other figure, I want you to kind of see the end product to start with. What I did is I put the paper onto the body and I taped it on, and that's what I'm going to be working on. So you see how I have the one in the back is taped to the one in the front, and then inside of here I'm going to have to slice that and get that to bend around the body as well. And then afterwards you'll take tape and go over all the clothes so that it all becomes tape again. So I'm just going to take the top piece and tape that onto the figure where it's going to go so that the tape will help me hold the piece on. And I'm going to do that for the piece in the back. Now, because I added a little bit of a backside to my figure, I'm going to put this a little bit higher because it's going to need to curve around that backside. But I am going to tape that on in the back as well. All right, so I have my two pieces on the front and on the back. Now we just need to get them to meet each other in the front. Oh, I put that too high. And remember, if something's not working, remember that you can just cut it open and start over again. If you made the clothing pieces a little too small, just start over, get some new paper, and start again, and it's okay. All right, so to get these pieces to actually curve for the inside of the legs, I am going to cut a little bit of a slit here and here on both sides so that these have a little bit more room to move. And starting on the outsides, I'm going to take my tape and seal up those seams. Think about like how you would sew pieces together. So the first one is a little bit tricky. I'm just going to take some tape and get those pieces to meet each other, and then my job will be a little bit easier after that. I'm going to do it on the other side as well. Tape half on and half off, and then tape this over so that it meets the other part of the pants, like that. So you see how I've done that there so that they're on there? And then after that, I'm just going to continue to seal up the pieces. Now back here where this is not quite long enough, I can add more paper on later when I'm ready to do that. And you're just going to kind of just keep taping to kind of get it roughly on there. And then once you get your clothing onto your piece, then after that you can start adding on those extra details. And remember, if something isn't quite curving, think about where you might need to cut it to make it curve some more, and how you can use the tape as a bridge to get pieces together. So I would just continue to tape these up until I have the pants that I wanted. Let me make that a little smaller. So I'm not liking how that's too big, so I'm just going to cut that open. And make it overlap a little bit more on the inside. All right, so I think you guys see what's happening here. See how I have now a pant leg. If I want to go with my plan of having those be kind of rigid, I would do this before I put these on here. But you could even put in those little details and then use your smaller pieces of tape to clean those edges up. So in the next video, I'll have the pants on all the way and have that finished. And then I will show you guys how I would do the shirt, but it's pretty much the same. You'd cut 2 pieces, have the front and have the back, and then tape them on. But after this, I'm just going to now start covering this with tape to combine that all down. And do it neatly so that you don't have to go back and redo it. Go ahead and do it neatly. So I would finish that up.